Hey there, Wildly Better gang. I wanted to come to you and give you a little backdrop as to why I'm doing what I'm doing with Wildly Better. A few years ago, I was on a solo retreat for 2 days overnight in the mountains of South Africa. And one of the realizations I came to then, which I'm not pleased to admit to you actually, is that I had really gotten soft on continuing to deeply, personally develop my patterns and practices. Sure, I'd continue taking classes on coaching and consulting and becoming better professionally, but when it really came down to me taking a look and reviewing my life over the last 25 years, when I look back at the early stages of my career, I took deeply serious goal setting. I took deeply serious that my life was split into various roles, and I had very clear articulations about what those roles were and the goals I was going after, the character I wanted to develop, the things I wanted to accomplish. And I recognized on that personal retreat that I'd gotten soft on all of that and that I'd kind of gone on autopilot. And I purposed at that time, I wasn't going to spend the next 25 years of my life on autopilot, asleep. It's great to develop professionally, but if you're not developing personally and becoming the most amazing version of you possible, if you are not maximizing who you can become, if you're not maximizing your ideation and your creativity, if you're not dialing in your eating plan, if you're not as fit as you've ever been right now, if you are not figuring out how can you optimize your brain chemistry even through what you eat so that the best brain available to you is available, so that you can create work blocks where you can 2x and 3x your output. If you're not doing those things, then actually the best version of you is yet to be realized. And I realized that a few years ago. And that put me back in a path. It put me back on a plan to say, I want to get better professionally, but I recognize that excellence professionally emerges out of excellence and rigor personally. And I want to share with you something about that word rigor. My brother and I lived in the same town for a number of years in early stage of our adult lives. And he and I used to get together every Tuesday or every Thursday morning for a number of years. And one of the questions we used to ask each other is, how's the life of rigor going, Ron? How's the life of rigor going, Rick? And what that meant was, hey, are you tuned into your roles and your goals? Are you reviewing where it is you're trying to go? Are you reviewing the things that you've set up as character goals that you're going after? Are you doing the kinds of things you need to do in meditation and in reflection, in gratitude work to make sure that you're really doing what it is you're supposed to do to become amazing? How's the life of rigor going? I promise you, if you were to dial up my brother today and say, hey, Rick, how's the life of rigor going? That will come back to him instantly because we did it for years. And I recognized in that 2-day solitude retreat in the mountains of South Africa that I had let the personal life of rigor, at least the life I'd known, go. And I decided I was going to get back on a path, get back in a lane where I was going to take that dead serious and become the best version of me possible, to get in the best physical shape I'd ever been in, to be the most creative contributor imaginable, to become the best ad and resource broker ever, and to set goals to get there. And that leads me to the principle I just want to share with you as you reflect on this, because I hope it maybe will jar some of us out of being on autopilot, jar some of you out of being asleep, jar some of you out of just sleepwalking through life and whatever comes, comes. And it has to do with a principle that Jim Rohn, the great personal development guru, taught years and years ago. And it was the principle of the law of diminishing intent. And the law of diminishing intent says this: when you have a gut feel that you should act on something, when you have this creative flash that you should create something, when you have this flash that you need to reach out and touch somebody, or you need to set a goal to do something, the time to do that when you have the flash is right that second. Because he says there's a law of diminishing intent. The longer you wait from that flash, that gut, that prompting, between then, when you have it and the time you act on it, the longer you wait, the least likely you will be to actually execute. It's the law of diminishing intent. So I'm hoping that today, this mini video, this mini talk, will give you the opportunity to say, what am I sensing the prompting on to act on right now? Not next week, not when I get around to it. This is a problem, right? That we'll say, you know what, one of these days I'm going to. But one of these days never happens. I'm going to get in the best shape of my life someday. I'm going to start a 60-minute reading practice next month. But next month rarely comes. I want to invite you into action today. I want to invite you to become the best version of you possible. And join me in restarting maybe patterns and practices and rhythms and rituals that will make you the best version of you possible. Not just better, wildly better.